Hi, it's Ricky of Moshville Times here once again. Now, tonight I'm delighted to welcome Dan Carter of DC Sound Attack. So, first of all, I've got to ask you, Dan, how are you tonight, mate? It's good to talk to you.
I'm good, man. Thank you very much. I've had a nice day taking my daughter for a walk and doing a bit of fossil hunting around the area. So
Ah, cool, cool. You've got to take yourself away from it sometimes, though, eh? You've just got to get some me time in there somewhere.
yeah, well, I mean, we ain't been very well for a couple of weeks. So it was just kind of like escape the house. Yeah.
Quite right, quite right. So, right, so it's been a long time since I've spoken to somebody about this side of the music business. So, could you tell our readers at Moshville Times a bit about yourself and how you come to form DC Sound Attack?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I used to be the bassist in a band called Left for Red.
Yeah.
It was through Left for Red that I started picking up a bit more of the management of the band and what it is I was booking all our gigs, I was doing all our PR, and I was like, well, I could probably help other people out like this.
Yeah.
So what it is I started doing like some promotion in my local area
Yeah.
under the name of Beardy Monkey Promotions, and I had a band called Eternal Fear,
Okay.
who were from Sweden, and they came over to the UK. And what it is their old management didn't sort of fell apart, and they were over here and they were like, we need somebody to pick it up. Are you all right would you mind helping out?
Okay.
And that is basically what started it all. I was like, well, all right, and I already do it for Left for Red.
Yeah.
I'll start doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that just grew. I took on Obsidian next, and then I took on Warcrab, and I can't remember who it was the next one on. And basically, I just started taking on bands just gradually.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you very quickly find out it was a side of the business that you actually quite liked?
yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I went to university to study music performance,
Okay.
and actually, I realised quite quickly that it was the business side that I was interested in.
Yeah.
And it was all sort of like the laws and the how to make money through like royalties and stuff like that. That I was actually like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I just started taking interest from it, and that's kind of where it got to.
Yeah.
But now, like I obviously joined Fat Angel in 2017. And basically, I was working with Christian Angel and Bird for a good few years. And then DC Sound Attack, basically. I wanted to start something new branding. I had an idea in my head of what I wanted.
Yeah.
And as much as I absolutely love Christian Angel and whatever, Fat Angel was their brand.
Yeah.
Um, and I had an idea of what I wanted in my head, and it wasn't Fat Angel. So it was either we scrap Fat Angel completely, and we kind of do this idea, which I could have been outvoted on, or I just started again.
Yeah.
So that was it really, and
I must admit, thanks very much for that. I must admit, I remember the posts that you put on social medias when you said that you're leaving Fat Angel because I'd done a couple of things for you then, and I was quite worried or concerned that was you leaving the business altogether. But very quickly, you said, "Oh, by the way, this is DC Sound Attack."
yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things. Like over the course of the pandemic, obviously everybody has questioned their choices.
Yes.
Um, and it's one of those things where I was like, can I be bothered to do it? Like, well, what it is, I had DC Sound Attack in my mind when um when like we announced Fat Angel was collapsing.
Yeah.
And I had actually already got the logo and stuff. I'd already been chatting to Kieran about the logo, so I'd already got the branding. I was there just going, do I have the energy to press go? And that was all it was. And what it is give like, so I said that I was leaving. I did actually put in the post that I don't know how long for. And then it was one of those things where it's like I went to Bloodstock, and basically I saw everybody
Yeah.
that I hadn't seen for 2 years. I got chatting, got drinking, and I was inspired again. And that's all it is. It's just I have times where you lack inspiration. I suppose everybody does, and that's kind of what it was. I went to Bloodstock. Obviously, I hadn't been to a gig in 2 years. Went to Bloodstock, saw all my friends, saw Ash and Crown at the side of the stage, saw Netherhall at the side of the stage. Bam, inspired. That's it. That's what I want to do.
Excellent. That's a brilliant story. Thank you. But you certainly got the mojo back, because you've been very, very active on the signing front then. So would you like to give everyone a list of your bands on your roster at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Let's make sure I don't miss anybody off. Right. So currently, Ash and Crown.
You're on the spot here, didn't I?
I know, yeah. Well, because it's one of those things, I'll always miss somebody off. So here we go. Ash and Crown. Do you want me to introduce each one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ash and Crown, Birmingham death metal band from Birmingham. Obviously, I've just said that. You've got Blood Oath, who are like a Viking melodic death metal band from Leicester. You have Netherhall, a progressive rock / metal band from Birmingham. I've taken on Solitary, who are from Preston. I never knew where they were from. Legendary thrash metal band Solitary. Yeah.
Do you want me to pause the recording?
No, carry on. King Kraken from South Wales, who are a wicked rock band, and basically I saw these guys. I saw them. Their name came to me a couple of years ago. Actually, I was putting together a lineup for what was Heaps of Metal, going to be Heaps of Metal Festival. For whatever reason, the event didn't happen in the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, I kept in touch with them, but they put on a hell of a show, and Mark's got such a wicked voice and proper like clutch vibes, and I was like, yes, I'll have a bit of that. We've got Master Charger, who are from Nottingham, wicked doom metal band. I've been working with Master Charger now for about 4 or 5 years. They were on with me in Fat Angel, and then what it is when I closed Fat Angel, they actually got somebody else to represent them, and then what it is that hasn't quite worked out. So they've, we sort of we came up with a deal.
Yeah.
And then we have Elimination from Ipswich, Norwich, somewhere around that East Anglia way, wherever you're from. And once again, another thrash metal band. I'm rubbish at geography. Another thrash metal band. But I mean, basically, I've been working with these guys doing their PR since they released their Of Gods and Beasts EP. And out of all the bands that I work with, everything that I've said, they've listened to and they've done. I'm not saying that nobody else listens to me. Yeah. But like what it is literally, and they've come on so much in such a short time. So it was kind of like after doing their album as well, it was I had to take them on. And then finally is Crystala, who's my most recent signing, and probably the biggest signing on my books at the moment.
I was going to say that.
And basically, we just sort of struck a deal, had a bit of a chat, and off we go.
Bob's your uncle, they're on your team. So that's the type of thing. You've kind of you've not rested in your laurels at all. You've just you've refocused, you've rebranded, you've got an idea of what it is that you want to do and the idea of the bands that you want to get in touch with, and that's certainly what you've gone out and done. But catering for different genres of music, then, does that bring its own headaches when it comes to promoting and marketing the gigs and marketing the band?
I mean, it's one of those things. I only ever take on bands that I like. Well, not even necessarily that I like, but I know that I can work with.
Yeah.
I know my contacts. I know what they're interested in now, and it's taken me some time to sort of work out, right, what are people interested in booking. I've kind of taken on some bands to test. I mean, like what it is rock isn't necessarily my genre.
Yeah.
And so kind of taking on King Kraken, who are probably more rock than they are metal. Even though they've got some meaty riffs, they are probably more rock than they are metal. Just see what works. So like and open up different contacts.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's one of those things. Like, I need to know that I can sell it really, and if I dig it, and I really dig it, then that's kind of what I work with.
Cool. Excellent. So for bands that are unaware, and for the readers of Moshville Times as well, that what if they're unaware of what DC Syndicate can do for them, what services do you provide up and coming bands as well as seasoned bands then?
I mean, basically, the whole reason why I rebranded was because I wanted to get rid of the term management. I mean, some of the bands. Oh, I did leave a band out. Recall the Remains. I knew I would. Sorry. There we go. Just come to me. Recall the Remains.
I didn't want to embarrass you.
No. It was always going to come back to me. And then so I basically started up DC Sound Attack to get rid of the term management. It's not management that I do. The way I see management is kind of like Sharon clearing up after Ozzy. And what it is I'm not sort of down for that. What I want to do is I want to work with bands that have a lot going for them, have a vision themselves already, that basically I can drive and I can work with and I can steer them in the right direction, I suppose. So kind of what I do is artist development more than anything. It's working with artists to try and get them to the next level and achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So I scrap the management out of it. Obviously, the services that come under that are bookings, and whether that be national bookings around the UK, and starting to get into international bookings. I've recently started working with Global Unity Tours, who are an American-based booking agency.
Wow.
Who book all over the world. So what it is, it's opening up different options different options and avenues for bands. And that's kind of the other thing really. I'm keen for DC Sound Attack to work with lots of different people. It's not going to be an isolation thing. It's right, who can I work with, who can I sign with, and for the best of the bands really. And then so obviously there's the booking, there's the festival bookings and so on, and obviously the tour gig bookings, and then there's also the PR. So what it is the bands that sign up to me get just a rolling PR. So if they have an album or anything come out, then what it is I'll push it out, and I'll push it out to my contacts, and I'll do their full PR campaign for them. But on the side of things is obviously I can't take every single band onto my roster. But what I can do is the bands that I can't take onto my roster but would still like to work with me, I actually do like standalone PR campaigns, like I'm currently doing for Good Locker at the moment. And kind of what I did for Elimination beforehand is they weren't necessarily contracted to me, but they have 3 to 4 months of my time, where basically I'll do gig bookings, I'll do all their PR and everything for them, just for like a standalone. And then once the job's done, they'll go about their merry way, they might come back in a couple of months' time when they've got another release, or they'll carry on.
This all sounds very, very time consuming, and I know that, same as myself, got a full-time job, so you just do this in your spare time and things, but how much of your own personal time is taken up with DC Sound Attack?
Everything else. I mean, like, it's one of those things really, like, I don't know how I do it. I mean, I'll get asked this question so much. I don't know how I do it. Do
you have anybody working with you, or is it just you?
Just me. I mean, what it is like obviously my partner will chip in every now and again to sort of help out with like some admin stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got Kieran who does a lot of my designing for me and things like that. But majority of it and sort of the running of the business is just solely me, which is kind of how I wanted it, really.
Yeah.
Um,
How's your hair not my colour?
Say that again, mate.
How's your hair not my colour?
I don't have any hair, mate.
Well, there you go. Well, that's backfired on me, but thanks very much for that. So if somebody expressed an interest in doing what it is that you do, what advice would you give them?
Don't offer stuff that you can't give.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm very open with what I try to be. Very open with bands. If I can't do something, I can't do something. You know, so like I get bands messaging me going, oh well, you know, can you book us like this 3-week tour of the UK? You know, and like they've given me like 2 weeks deadline to do it. So no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then or like when I do PR campaigns, at the end of the day, I can't guarantee that anybody will pick it up. You know, because what it is obviously, you know, you don't get paid for what you do or anything like that. Obviously, you know, a lot of people do it for the love, and so I think that's kind of why I'm like I try to build up respect with a lot of magazines and reviewers and radio stations and that sort of thing, is because I don't expect anything from anybody, and I can't expect anything from anybody. It's what they can give.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it, really. So, but I'm very open and honest with bands. Is if they don't pick it up, I can't make them. Yeah, just being open and honest, I think. And just trying to make it so, you know, before you start doing it, ask yourself, am I equipped? Am I equipped to do this? Now, what it is like when I first started, I probably wasn't equipped, and I was lucky that people put the trust in me to do it. But you know, over the years, you eventually learn what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but you need to be equipped kind of up here in kind of what you see yourself doing. And I've always had that sort of drive forwards, and I kind of know what I want to be and know where I want to be and that sort of thing.
I mean, this is the side of things that I like to do. I mean, I wouldn't know the first thing about getting a band a gig, and then when they're at the gig, you've got to look after them. How much do you pay the venue? How much do you pay the band? How do you get your ticket sales? It's not easy. But I'd imagine, like, once you've done over a period of time, you know where the pitfalls are. You know exactly what to look out for, who to deal with, and who not to deal with. So I take it you've learned a lot from your experiences.
Yeah, and I continue to. I mean, like I've still got a long way to go, to be honest. And I'm constantly learning every day. It's a fucking school day. You know, like and
Yeah.
you know, like you know, you have some big wins, and then you have some real like moments where bands are ringing you up, like in the middle of the night when you're just going off to bed, and they're going, I'm trying to get paid. And you're there going, well, you're a million miles away from me. What do you want me to do? And you're having to try and pick up the phone to go, can you pay my band, please, so they can go. You know, so there's things that you still learn, and you learn kind of how to deal with those situations. And because obviously it puts you in a very stressful position yourself, which you don't want to be in. So, but as I say, I'm still learning now, and I think I will be up until I die.
I know that DC Sound Attack is still very young, but have you had a particularly proud moment so far? Would it be? I'm just hazarding a guess here, but would it be the first band that you signed to DC?
I think probably. I mean, like with DC Sound Attack itself, I mean, all the bands that I've got on my roster, I'm proud to work with.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they all are the best of what they do.
Yeah.
You know, in their genres, they are like, the way I see it, they are the best at what they do. Some of them are very well known. Some of them have some room to grow. But you know, like, each one of these bands has impressed me to the point where it's like I've wanted to be in the band, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And obviously I can't be in every single band, but
Can you still play bass?
yeah, well, I think so. I don't know. um, I'll have to get it out at some point, but no, it's not one of those things where, like, you know, I feel some, you know, like, I try to be a part of each one of these bands,
Yeah.
and run it like I would my own band.
Yeah.
You know, like, some of the bands need more guidance than others. Some of the bands basically come to me to confirm, this is what we're doing. Are you all right with it? Can you do that for us?
Yeah.
And there we go. You know, so it's one of those things, really.
So who were actually the
I
first
work my
band?
line.
Who were actually the first band that sent to DC?
Ash and Crown.
What a hell of a start
So,
after their performance at Bloodstock.
yeah, well, it was at Bloodstock where basically I sat down with the guys and I was like, okay, after their performance, and in fact, once it literally was after their performance, we went and sat down, and I said, "Can I talk to you?" And we sat down, and I went, "Right, I think I'm going to start back up." And they were like, "Yeah, we knew you were." I think Steve actually just went, "Yeah, I was just waiting for you to say." Um, and I said, and I just sort of said to the guys, I was like, "So, but what do you want from me? You know, what do you want me to do?" I mean, the other thing, the other thing that I've had to learn is kind of, how do you price yourself? You know, what's my time worth? And I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, when I started off, I was doing it for free. You know, like, and you realise how much time was eating out of your time. So then I started putting on a really, really small fee. And once again, you just go, well, if I was working, I mean, because obviously most of my stuff is twilight. You know,
Yeah.
it's twilight hours. You know, you work up, and, you know, like, I can be working up until I get to bed some nights, up until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, weekends, bank holidays. Um, Stupidly, I was doing stuff on Christmas Day and that sort of thing. It
Wow.
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
I take it you've got your phone on you 24/7.
always by the side of me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it drives my missus mad. But
I can imagine. I didn't want to bring it up, but I can imagine.
but now, like, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, to be honest, I'm very lucky. Like, Claire's very, very understanding with kind of what I do. You know, and so, like, I'm kind of in a lucky position, really. But now, so, like, so it's one of those things where I basically built it up with Ash and Crown.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you want? What would you pay? You know, and we went from there, and so the actual business is actually built upon the model that I agreed with Ash and Crown.
There you go.
And I also had a lot of input from, asking him some credit as well. Adam Haywood from Haywood Media Coaching Services. I mean, like, Adam's a really good friend of mine, and basically he spent a lot of time just working with me through the, hell yeah, I'm going to do it, through to the shit, I'm not good enough, I can't do it. Because I mean, like, it's weird. Like, after all this time, I still have imposter syndrome, and you go, what the fuck am I doing? You know, like, why do people keep coming to you? Still have imposter syndrome, and not. I mean, I suppose that's my own head. You know, like, and it's one of those things. Like, I see people like Ian Shaw from Surprise You're Dead,
Yeah.
and all the bands he works with, like, you know, like Raging Speedo and stuff like that. And that's kind of my goal. That's where I want to be, and that's what I want to be doing, and that's my inspiration. But
Yeah.
then you go, well, how do you do that? You know, like, and so now, but you know, I can't remember what the question was now. But you know, like, it's one of those things, sort of coming back round to it. It's kind of like, I suppose it's one of those things. You need to be driven, and I am driven, and fair enough. My goals change every single day of kind of what I want to achieve and stuff like that. But not only that, I don't limit myself.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I would probably be the same as you. I would love this to be my Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job, but as we all know, it's incredibly hard to get money in the music business anymore. So
yeah,
you've just got to do it for the passion, eh? But I
yeah.
take it you've reached out to fellow promoters or whatever like that as and when you need advice, especially when you started out and stuff like that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like there's those people that I say Adam's been an absolute rock, and like he's and he continues to be now. But to be honest, like you know, I think we kind of help each other out because like we work with each other's businesses a lot. To be honest, Chris Sams from Fat Angel. I mean, like, we still work together a lot.
Yeah.
We still talk a lot, and
Cool.
quite often we often like scream at each other when something's not going quite how we want it to go, and we go because we just understand each other. I mean, like I've started to build up a good relationship with Liam Barlow from On Earth. Like, and but that's kind of it. Like, the other side of DC Zen Attack is a couple of years ago, everybody was competition. Like, and you were looking at everybody going, fuck, they've done that, shit, they've done that, and like you didn't say anything, but in your head you're comparing yourself to every single other management roster and what they were doing and the bands they were signing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was driving me mad, and I was there going, what am I doing? Why am I comparing myself to somebody that it is their full-time job?
Yeah.
And you're just there going, at the end of the day, I'm a teacher full time currently. And so the kind of the approach that I've gone with DC Sound Attack is I need to, stop seeing people as competition. We're all kind of, I'm trying to build up a community of like, we're working together.
Yeah.
And whatever they achieve on top of that, great. Like, so I'm just trying to be a bit more sensible and humble with it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one step at a time, eh? One step at a time. But
yeah, I mean, I'm very competitive, but it's one of those things where like I'm trying to not let that competitive side of me ruin my mental health side of things.
Yeah, that's huge at the moment, isn't it? Huge. You've always got to look after yourself, though. First of all, team one. That's what I call it. Look after yourself. Team one. Everything else will then take into fall into place, so that'll be fine. But I notice your background. I notice there's a poster for a particular event. To commemorate your first anniversary for DC Sound Attack. So would you like to tell us a wee bit more about that? Who's going to be playing? Where's it going to be at?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, basically the attack is going to take place at the Flapper in Birmingham, which I've got a lot of history at the Flapper from playing there, and I used to do a lot of gig bookings, and I put Headbangers Balls on there a couple of years ago. God, no, it's not. It's about 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Right. And so I've got a lot of history with the venue. I was gutted when it closed down. I'm really happy now it's opened back up. It's in a beautiful scenery. I mean, if you've never been to the Flapper before, it's basically a pub that is right on the side of the canal, and there's a nice big outside area. There's a lovely area upstairs for the bar, and there's like pool tables and everything like that. And then downstairs in the what was the beer cellar is the venue.
So how what's the capacity of it, do you think?
180. So I mean, it's only a small venue. I mean, to be honest, I'm hoping we can sell the attack out.
Yeah.
But it's Friday the 30th of September to the 1st of October 2022.
Okay.
Headlining on the Friday night is Gargangela, and headlining on the Saturday night is Crystalla. And basically, we have a mixture of bands from my roster and also just friends, really. So we've got Ash and Crown, we've got Master Charger, King Kraken, Elimination, Recall the Remains, Blood Oath from my roster.
Yeah.
We have the Grey, and we have, oh, here we go, Gospelheim. God's sake, my brain. We have the Grey, Gospelheim, the Crawling
Yes.
from Northern
Belfast.
Ireland.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then basically we're also going to be raising money for Young Minds. Young Minds are a charity that works with young people and children and families that suffer with mental health issues. And the whole reason for that is, in my day job, I see more than ever. I mean, I've been working at Access Creative College for 10 years, and mental health is running rampant at the moment. And they're getting younger, and so what it is, it's obviously that they're a charity that one of my students actually does some work with, and that was how I found out about them. And yeah, basically, it's just, I don't know. I think of my own daughter. I think of my own daughter really, and it's like, I'd hate for her to ever suffer with her own head, because there's nothing you can do. There's no escape. And kind of, knowing what to do yourself. Like if your child is just so sad and depressed and fed up with their life, and you go, well, why? So yeah, but basically we're running donations on the door. I've also got a GoFundMe, Just Giving, that's the one, Just Giving page up. And we're also going to be doing like a raffle. I've got a load of merchandise and stuff upstairs.
Cool.
Plus, hopefully the band will give me something as well, so we can do. Everybody loves a raffle. I'm going to do a raffle.
Definitely. You're going to get bingo in as well. I love bingo.
Oh God, yeah, we'll do it all.
Good, no, good stuff. So you heard it here first. You've got a shitload of bands that'll play an excellent gig, I'm sure, but you're also doing it for a local charity as well, a very worthwhile cause. So we'll make sure we do our bit to help promote that as well when we're promoting the gig in a festival. So well played.
Yeah. No, I mean, like it's one of those things. It's this is hopefully the first of many. I mean, what I see this doing is being a yearly thing, and hopefully getting bigger and bigger each year. I just think, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, a question that's just came into my head. What about bringing bands like north of border? Yes, but could there be a DC festival or a night with DC or something like that? And I don't know, Newcastle, Glasgow, Aberdeen, down to London and stuff like that. Is that an ambition?
Yeah. I mean, like it's one of those things, really. We can't do that anyway. I mean, obviously, there's bands that have easier access to traveling north, and bands that have easier access to traveling south. But yeah, definitely. I mean, like in the future, I mean, I work with lots of different promoters who are just as kind of invested, and see the vision. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
See what the future holds.
Yeah, cool. So do you envisage DC like growing, like the team growing, allowing for the roster of bands to expand and grow as well? Like, do you see bringing somebody else on just now, or are you just wanting to keep it within your limits just now?
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of the answer to that question.
Because you're working Christmas Day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things. Like, I don't want it to get too big.
Yeah.
That it loses the ethos. I only want to work with a small amount of bands, because otherwise you oversaturate. And I think if you start to take on loads and loads and loads and loads of bands, you oversaturate, and not only that, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And so what it is if I've got all the death metal bands and they all want to play on Bloodstock, how am I supposed to pick who plays?
Yeah.
At least like at the moment, I've got 2 death metal bands, I've got a metalcore band, I've got a progressive band, I've got like a kind of techie death metal.
That's a whole new genre of heavy metal there, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I mean? But so what it is they're not all fighting for the same opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think as much as I'd like the business to grow, not necessarily I mean, you know, look, I probably will, you know, in the future. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. It's a long way of me saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is just one of those things. Like, kind of, I'm trying to keep it so I keep those ethoses in place. And obviously, it's only easy to work with to do artist development.
Yeah.
On a small basis. The more you get in and that sort of thing, you lose that sort of that time with people. Not only that, I said, like, the bands will get fed up, and then what it is I'm an over pleaser as well. And I take it to heart if I haven't pleased somebody.
Could be a burden that, can't it?
Yeah. So, but now, so it's one of the things I don't know.
I know exactly what you're saying there. I know exactly what you're saying. But yeah, is there, without naming any names then, I've only got a couple of questions left. Without naming any names then, has there been a band that you wanted to bring to DC that said thanks, but no thanks, that you really wanted, but they just went, we're just looking for something different just now, or is it a case if you've got 100% record, everybody that you've wanted on the roster you've got?
Yeah, I mean, like not necessarily DC Soundtrack. Actually, Recall the Remains. I was a couple of years ago. I was just about to sign them for Fat Angel, and they signed another management deal. The day that I was going to offer them.
Wow.
And I went, great, I'm gutted. But what it is obviously, you know, we've chatted about that, and obviously they're on the roster. I mean, to be honest, what it is the bands that I've got on now are all the ones that I was kind of talking to, apart from Crystal. That was kind of out the blue. And I've got another band which I'll be announcing next month, which was out the blue. But everybody
every
else,
day you're announcing something new in DC Sound Attack. Every day, virtually.
Well, that's the way to do it, though, isn't it? It's keeping the content. What's happened to my arm?
So sorry, when are you announcing the next band?
Probably sometime mid-February.
Okay.
So now, you know, it's so there's only really two bands that are kind of new to me. The rest of them I was already kind of in conversation with anyway. Obviously, I'd already worked with Netherhall underneath Fat Angel, and then obviously when Chris and Angel decided that they weren't doing management anymore, I worked with them at Bloodstock, and we had a bit of a chat. And once I told Ash and Crown I was continuing, my next conversation was with Netherhall. Yeah, no, I say, look, at the moment, everybody that I've asked has said yeah. So.
Do you know, I've had the pleasure of seeing some of those bands live, Ash and Crown, Netherhall, Recall the Remains, and I'm delighted to see Chrysler as well, delighted to see them on your roster. I must admit, I really, really do have a soft spot. Obviously, Ash and Crown, because I'm more extreme metal, but for something different and out there, Netherhall. I think big things can happen with them. But Recall the Remains as well. Brilliant live performance that I saw them at. So, yeah, they've got a bright future as well. So hopefully they'll get there.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, that's it really. So like all the bands that I've got, I mean, like, you know, Netherhall have got a new album, which I'm hoping they'll drop in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
But I think that'll kind of solidify their next moves. Recall are in the studio, and they're kind of, I think they're releasing some singles, and they should be out in the next couple of months as well. Good. But they're working with the producer actually I used to work within Left for Red, and they're polished and tight as fuck.
Yeah.
And then Ash and Crown, I keep being sent new clips of new music. I've actually had some today.
Good.
So they're writing. Blood Oath are writing. So there's some good stuff coming. Master Charger are currently working on their next album.
Good.
So, and King Kraken have got a new album coming out soon as well. So, yeah.
It looks as if you're going to continue being busy for the next foreseeable future. Then that's the way to be, though. That's the way it's to be. But yeah, this is really my last question, mate, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken to have this interview. Before the internet, then, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends, but now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion has been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for your side of the business as well?
I mean, look, it's one of those things, like the publication scene has changed so much in the short time I've been doing it, but they're generally all the same faces. So like people will have a break and they'll come up under a new name, and so what it is like it's changing, but it's not necessarily like it is still majoritively the same people. I suppose you have a break, just the same as I needed, like to have a month off, just to go, what do I want to do next? So I think some people lose passion, and I think COVID's got a lot to do with it as well. Like obviously life's got 10 times harder. So a lot of people just go, well, what's the point? Look, I need to focus on what I'm doing, which is fine. And I do think the other thing is as well, and what people don't seem to realise is obviously you people that write for you people that do it for Metal Hammer and stuff like that probably get paid. I'm not saying they all do. But basically on the small sort of side of things, and a lot of photographers won't be getting paid and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So therefore, you only do it for so long. But some people have a break and then come back.
That's it. I mean, I was the same. I took about a month and a half out. I was just quite a bit burnt out, but I've certainly got my mojo back, and I don't know how many interviews I've got coming up now. I'm going to have to hire a PR or something like that to keep a diary for me or something, because I'm like, but it's amazing. I mean, I was lucky enough to do Venom Prison. I mean, that was one of the first ones back, and they're a huge band at the moment. But that just, after the end of it, I just went, yeah, that's me back on it, and I'm just doing everything possible. Same as yourself. You're just you got Ash and Crown on. You just want more. You've got to look after yourself, have your me time, but then when you get your mojo back, there's no stopping you now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the thing, and that's the thing I currently need to learn is before you hit that burnout, it's just to hit just hit the stop and reset button for a little bit, and that's kind of the whole point of going out. Flipping, like going out this morning, I was only out for an hour and a half, but it just helped, look, and just the little things in life.
That's
that's fun.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Dan. You obviously know where to send things to, like Moshville Times and the radio, to get some airplay for new singles or whatever like that. You know where to reach out to. But no glam metal for me, no. But you wouldn't be signing that anyway. But yes, like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure, Dan, and I wish you all the best for DC Sound Attack. I think we're going to be getting you on the radio in the near future as well, yeah?
I was chatting to Mark about that earlier.
We'll have a DC Sound Attack takeover. My Thursdays, by the way. But thanks a lot, Dan. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Nice one, mate. Thank you very much, Rick. Take care of yourself. Have a good evening.